Hello, pretty girl alumni. Please join the lesson class is in session. So, today we are going to be tackling why you can't afford as a pretty girl to be a people pleaser. And I don't think people pleasing really benefits anyone on a grander scale. But I'm going to be talking from a perspective of a pretty girl and a pretty girl specifically, okay? So, number one is you're only going to attract vampires and leeches. You're only going to attract people who want to drain you of your energy and who don't want to give you anything in return. And with people pleasing, what you don't realize is that healthy people tend to not want to associate with that type of energy. I know for a fact that when I am around someone who is a people pleaser, it also tends to drain me as well because I don't feel like they have any personality outside of wanting to help people and wanting to make sure that people like them, and it's quite exhausting, it's quite draining. The only people who don't mind you being like that are people who constantly want something from you. And on top of that, people who want something from you without feeling the need to return. So, um, it's just going to leave you drained at the end of the day. And on top of that, the people who like that type of behavior, who like it when you don't have boundaries, when you just say yes to anything, are people who are initially entitled and they're not going to appreciate your efforts and your energy. And I know this because all it takes is one no for that person to switch up on you. I've had so many instances where I felt like I put in a lot of energy and effort into helping people consistently without asking for anything in return or complaining about it. And then the one time you do have a problem or you do complain, then it's seen as, oh my gosh, how could you betray me? Or you're not a good friend. And it's manipulation and it's guilt tripping and it's quite sad, or the person just starts acting funny towards you. So it's almost like this consistent need for validation by you doing something for them or you helping them in some way. And I honestly believe, as someone who is a psychology major, that it's mainly because those people have a little less empathy and they are a little more selfish, and a lot of those people have overwhelming narcissistic traits, and they tend to see people as means to an end. So why do you want to attract those people? Because let me tell you now, healthy people or people who are going to love you for who you are or appreciate you for your presence and not for what you can give them, they are not going to be mad if you need time to yourself. They're not going to be mad if you love and respect yourself to the point where you set boundaries and you hold them. And when I was a people pleaser, I'll tell you this story about my experience as a people pleaser is when I started dating and I was a people pleaser. I thought I had to turn up my feminine charm. Well, firstly, I didn't even know what being feminine was. I thought being feminine was having the male gaze or having a devoted partner. And now I know that femininity is so much more than that. It's beyond that. And as a teenager, young adult, so between the ages of 18 and 19, I really felt like I had to bend over backwards for the men I was dating, figuratively and literally. But it never got me the respect or the devotion that I perceived it would get me by doing all these things. And this isn't just exclusive to romantic relationships as a pretty girl. Um, it also can relate to other relationships, friendships, family dynamics. A lot of people who notice that you don't have boundaries will carry on pushing you, pushing you, pushing you, because why not? Because every time they do it, they get something out of it, they benefit from it. So obviously, why would they stop asking you for things? If I had someone who every time I asked for money, they gave me money, it's going to be very hard not to ask for money when I need money, because I know they're always, or at least I perceive them as always ready to help. And some people, it might not even come from an ill-intended place. Some people might come from a maybe ignorant place, or maybe a unaware place, codependent place. So some people, they actually don't know when they're being too much. And that's why people pleasing is not beneficial. And let me just say that I am not saying that people pleasing is helping people or being kind or being generous. I'm just saying that there is a balance to everything, and context matters. Okay, so if the person you are being helpful to is reciprocating that energy to the same extent or to the best of their abilities, and that is satisfactory to you, then I don't perceive that as being a people pleaser. I see that as a healthy relationship dynamic where there is an equal exchange, where both parties are mutually benefiting. People pleasing tends to be very one sided. It tends to be very toxic, and oftentimes it tends to be abusive, which is why a lot of the times people pleasing tendencies will stem from trauma. I know for me personally, it did. It stemmed from coming from a family where the children had no boundaries, essentially. Your parents could ask you for anything at any time, and if you contested, you were seen as rude and disrespectful, as ungrateful. So I internalized that as, if anyone asks me for anything and I say no, they're going to see me as a bad person. And it's not a healthy mindset to have, because you tend to sacrifice your well being, you tend to sacrifice your mental health to overextend yourself. We all need some time to ourselves. If you are naturally people pleasing and you are just a naturally caring person and you just want to give and nurture people, then use that to your benefit. Don't just give away your energy and have nothing to sustain yourself. Use that to elevate yourself. Go into careers where that can propel you to success and to stardom. Go into places where it's beneficial for you to be um, very doting. Maybe you can try use that skill to get investors. You could use that skill to help a company to maybe rescue a dying company by attracting more customers. Maybe you can get into customer service. There are so many ways that you can use that to benefit you. And I truly believe that unless you're using this to elevate yourself, then you're essentially wasting your time, you're wasting your energy, and you're wasting your resources. And I like to use this analogy. Imagine you are put in a rainforest and you are put in the jungle, in the wilderness, and you have to survive the wilderness for a certain amount of time. You have to make it through to the other side. And they tell you you can only take a couple of utensils, you can fit one bag of utensils. You're going to take useful things only. You're going to take things that are going to help you survive and propel you forward. You're not going to take useless things that aren't going to help you in any way. And to me, I use that as an analogy of life, because if you are you have, first of all, you have a limited amount of time on this earth, a limited amount of time per day, a limited amount of energy per day. Because I've noticed I can only be productive for a few hours a day. If I push myself beyond that, I'm going to burn out. So I only actually have a limited amount of energy, a limited amount of productivity, and quite frankly, a limited amount of social battery and a limited amount of enthusiasm per day. And that's just the honest truth. Sometimes I even tell my boyfriend my social battery is low. I just need to spend time with myself because I don't have an unlimited amount of resources in terms of my affection, my energy, my time. So why are you giving away something that is valuable, that is limited, that is rare, something that you only have? Why are you giving that away willy-nilly without setting boundaries or expecting reciprocation, requiring reciprocation? And a lot of people call you selfish, and a lot of people call you, um, I've been called narcissistic before, but it's not. It's being self-preservative, and that is just how humans are meant to be programmed. You are meant to survive as a human, and I deem this as actually a kind act to myself. I deem it as an act of self love. When I say no to helping people when I am tired and I am drained and I don't have anything to give, I see that as a kindness to myself. And by doing that, I actually healed myself and I healed that part of me that felt like they needed human validation consistently because I gave that to myself. I was like, yes, I'm tired. I see you. I notice that you're tired. I notice that you have nothing to give, and it's okay. You can say no. And that's also going to be an act of kindness to yourself. So that is the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.